It's so good.
I meant the other direction. Harrison's Hangout. Harrison on the highway.
And it is 1 minute past the hour. Harrison with you, your new best friend, coming to you live from Key West, Florida. And not just Key West, Florida, which, of course, is one of the gay capitals of the universe, of the entire planet, of the spinning orb that we like to call Earth, but probably the premier gay resort of anywhere you can go. Now, there are places pretty much in every continent. Every city has some variation of it. But there's one place that people come to from anywhere in the world. It's called the Island House, and that's where we are right now, right here live. And I'm sitting next to John Allen. He's the owner, the proprietor, and really the inventor of the concept that makes it so efficient and so perfect today. And just to make him squirm a little bit, I want to boast about this guy. There is much more to him than just an innkeeper of an impeccable establishment, of a place that has pretty much full booking all year around, where people fly from the most faraway distances in Eastern Europe, in Central Europe, in Japan, in China, you name it, the whole soup, cat, and pizzas. They come here because it's a great place for gay people to fully express themselves. But he's got this weird concept, and I'm going to share it with you. It's called customer service. Here's the concept behind it. It's going to be foreign to us with American ears. When somebody comes to the door, you're nice to them. If they need something, you make sure they have it. And then you make sure they have it the way they wanted it. I know it's radical. He's going to explain a little more about why that actually works. But first I want to welcome John Allen. And thank you so much, as always, for hosting us here at the Island House.
Well, thank you, Cary. Welcome back to Key West.
Now, the Island House, if anybody were to just Google Island House, Key West, go to islandhousekeywest.com. Go to gay. It'll come under there at some point. You are that ubiquitous, that well-known, that planetary, and all you've done was what you say is, I just do the right thing.
For 12 years. You know, this all has built on itself in a very nice way. I think we've learned as we went along. We've collected an amazing staff. We've got 35 guys who work here who are just totally committed to delivering an extraordinary experience for our guests.
Now, that could be true of many hotels, the Ritz-Carlton or this or that. And I would tell you, having stayed in the Ritz and having stayed in many hotels throughout Europe for various travel stories and such, they're polite in a kind of a special, almost mechanical, mathematical way. But the warmth is what you guys have. And I have to say, it feels genuine. I believe it is.
It is genuine. I think our staff are very much like our guests. They're all largely middle-class, middle-aged gay guys. And so we relate to you.
And if you look behind us, just between us here, you'll see all kinds of glistening lights. There's a swimming pool behind us filled with men who may or may not be wearing bathing suits. And I understand that in Key West, you could actually you could place your nether bits into the sunshine.
You can in any private place. A business is a private place. So we have bars here where people are naked. We have restaurants where people are naked, and we have guest houses where people are naked. And 12 months a year, the weather's pretty amenable to getting naked, so it's fun.
I guess it's fair and reasonable. Look at Billy up there. You're just really excited by that. We have people viewing from all over the world right now. Yvonne, this is Yvonne here. Is that right?
I'm trying to plan my next trip out there.
You're going to have to plan your next trip out there. I'm going to actually stick an earbud in with John. We're going to share a little audio excitement here. So that he can appreciate some of the background conversation. We're at Island House here right now. I want you to look on your screen. You'll note phone numbers. You'll note websites. You'll notice a lot of different ways that you can get in touch with Island House. If you're a gay man and you want to have the superlative experience, if you want to be fully taken care of, if you want to have the complete luxury and privacy of not having to worry about being who you are and being catered to in a full resort paradise, this is it. You know, we've all been to Palm Springs. If you don't mind, a 1940s motel with a palm tree in the front, and they go, and a gay flag that's torn, flapping. That is not what goes on here. In fact, John, I would point out, and this is not just my opinion, that the food at Island House is probably one of the best restaurants on the entire island.
I'm glad that you think that. I hear that all the time. And that's what we try to do, and I hope we're doing it.
Well, I was just in Naples and in Marco Island, and a grouper sandwich there was $23, $24. And trust me, it was not spectacular. It was in a sort of on a piece of wax paper in an old beer can or something. Your grouper sandwich here is about $11. So you're like 50% cheaper with 50% more fish. You can actually do that?
Yeah, and that fish was on a boat this morning.
She's laughing. Fresh fish.
Yeah.
Fresh fish in Florida. It reminds me of the old days.
Amazing concept, isn't it?
So to sort of really encapsulate your passion, once upon a time you thought, let's open a guest house and see what happens. Did you imagine in a million years that you would have really the #1 resort, review after review after review? And John Allen, the proprietor of Island House here, and I were talking earlier about the notion of, you know, social networking, in which the truth will always come out. When you go to General Motors and look under Facebook, you might not see all the compliments that their TV commercials say are happening. But when you check out Island House, it is nothing but page after page, comment after comment, post after post of people having an extraordinary time. And did you imagine it would be like that 15 years ago?
Well, I don't think we understood how high up could be, but I don't think that Martin and I would, Martin's my husband, have gotten involved in this if we didn't believe that we could deliver an extraordinary customer experience. And that's entirely what's going on at Island House. We're not renting rooms here. This isn't the Days Inn, the Holiday Inn. This isn't Hilton. I always tell prospective employees that we have more in common with Disney than with Marriott. We're here, all of us are here to help you have the holiday that you want to have, the vacation that you want to have. We're creating an experience for guests. And that's a very personal thing. It's and we're fortunate here that we've got extraordinary weather. We're in Key West, which is probably the most desired destination in the United States. We're just surrounded by exciting things to do, water, beautiful architecture. It's safe. It's gay-friendliest place on earth, I imagine. We've got great food, great theater, nightlife, and we've got a great bunch of guys on the staff here who just really, really, really love making people happy.
You know, as we talk to John Allen, coming to you live from Key West, Florida, by the way, from the Island House, which is internationally well known as the #1 gay resort in the world. And I'm not the only one that thinks that, but having been here, I can tell you it is true plus 100 on top. If you want to have the ultimate, the quintessential experience, be safe in a place to do whatever. And I would say whatever is a reasonable word to throw into the conversation. Not that I'm having a prurient interest here, but I guess I have one.
Boys just want to have fun. I call this summer camp for grown-ups. This is it might be volleyball, water volleyball in the pool, and it could be almost anything you can imagine. But I don't think that any reasonable person leaves Key West without a smile on their face.
It's a vacation with release. Whatever your tension is, you'll get release. Stop laughing. There is an upstairs room, which is sort of a video room, too, where you can sit with maybe a friend, a new friend, a nameless new friend, and have a mighty experience as well. That's half the fun. And I love the fact that you've got this Ritz-Carlton meets real life simultaneously here.
Yeah, this is a resort for gay guys. So if resort means Ritz-Carlton, then we have feather beds and down comforters and soundproof rooms and 24-hour food and one staff for each guest. We have extraordinary levels of service. And then around the edges, if you peek behind the curtain, there's all sorts of gay stuff going on. That's just fun.
All sorts, as in all sorts. And again, I vote yes because it is a democracy. You are watching The Smart Show here on KPFK 90.7 FM in Los Angeles. We are streaming naturally through a variety of different sources and across Europe. I can see we've got a ton of tweets. I'm looking at a Droid device that's listing a scrolling run of all of that. It is a wonderful place. On your screen, you're seeing different shots of the island house. You're seeing the beautiful swimming pool with people frolicking, splashing like little dolphins or big dolphins, depending on which body part you're looking at. You will stop laughing. You will also note that there is an incredible tropical paradise. We're talking about blooming, exploding hibiscus, blooming and explosions everywhere. We're talking about an incredible place. The beds, as you can see, have down comforters, Aveda products, all this other stuff. It really is true luxury with total freedom. And I don't suppose a lot of other places would even dare take that risk, and I just want to compliment you on a piece of thinking. When you check into Island House here, there's a monitor in your bedroom, a flat panel screen TV, which welcomes you and gives you basically easy instructions about how to navigate the island and all the, whether you want to go parasailing and all that cool stuff the concierges take care of. But John narrates it, and in the beginning, he says the do's and the don'ts. The don'ts last under 20 seconds. The do's last for about 90 minutes. And the only don't is, please try not to park in one of our neighbors' parking spots because we like our neighbors. That's the don'ts. And then the do's go on and on and on. And I have to tell you, that is diametrically opposite of anywhere else or any business or any experience I ever have where the don't is this big and the do is this big.
I defy you to find a sign posted anywhere on this property that tells you can't do something. That's my philosophy.
Right. And who's used to that in real life where the answer is yes first, and if there's a no, we have to have a really compelling reason to say no. And I don't think that's most people's experience. So if you want a place, and a lot of people, I imagine, there's a bit of down low, meaning that not everyone who comes here, they might not live in an urban setting where they feel so particularly safe. But here they can actually bloom and blossom. And I suppose after all this time, you're hearing back people, they become personal friends of yours after a time.
Sure, absolutely. It's a blessing, actually, to do what we do. We're surrounded, as I always say, with a smile on my face, we're surrounded by happy naked men. How bad is that? But the reality is that 65... Wow, that's a leer or a grin, which, or somewhere in between.
A little of both there.
But the reality is that 65% of our guests are repeating, which is an extraordinary...
Eating, is that...
Coming back again and coming and again.
It wasn't the black bean soup I had last night.
Oh, it could be that. Whatever works for you. So, yes, people do become friends. They become more real than the real people in your life, and that's nice, actually. Very nice. This is like the original concept of this 13 years ago before we bought the place that Martin articulated was that it would be like London Gentlemen's Club for gay guys in Key West. That's kind of what it is.
Which it really is. It really is a total gentleman's club, and some people are not gentlemen, which also makes it a little bit more manly in a gentle way. I want to point out we're coming to you live from the Island House in Key West, Florida. This is the premier gay location. It is known ubiquitously and worldwide. If you go to the IGLTA or any of the other places that organize travel, everybody knows about Island House, and it's because of its reputation. Not done through marketing, not done through some kind of special Hollywood savvy, but because it's common sense, because it really is hands-on. The service and everything else and the food. And John here, by the way, is also a real American hero in a totally separate sense from being an extraordinary innkeeper. He got married to his partner some time ago. It is still not legal in Florida, but ended up having an international marriage and has been demonstrating over the years how gay relationships can actually work in a public way. Jumped off the high dive and has made a lot of strides. And now with Prop 8 having been at least put on hold, doesn't mean anyone can get married in California, but maybe it goes to the the Supreme Court at some point for further review. But you set out in an early day when it wasn't necessarily popular for a gay guy to get married.
We all set out at a point in time when it wasn't even legal to be gay. I think it's extraordinary to see how far we've come. And I think the thing I find most heartening is that our struggle has been taken up by a lot of straight allies. We wouldn't be achieving the gains that we are today without a lot of straight folks that are fighting on our behalf. You know, there's no history in our country of any persecuted minority ever getting rights to the ballot box. You know, nobody, the mainstream never votes anybody rights at all. So it has to come through the struggle of our allies that we achieve these things. And I think that the Proposition 8 decision today is extraordinary. And it's extraordinary that Boyce and Olson, who are probably two of the most high-profile, savvy political lawyers in this country today, on
and former Bush Solicitor General,
right, and on completely opposite sides of the political spectrum, have joined hands to fight on behalf of something that they just openly describe as the sort of civil rights struggle of our generation, and it's quite amazing to be the beneficiary of all of that. So. Yeah, we got married, and we've been together since 1989. We got married in Canada in 2004. I got a British green card 2 years ago on the back of that, which is a nice thing that happens in some civilized countries. And I think probably in a year or two, my fingers crossed, Martin will get legal in this country too. So it's progress.
Does that mean that if you break your leg, you could jump on an airplane, go to England, and get health care?
Yes.
And if you want, and everyone's laughing, and if you wanted to get health care here, you should probably write a check for $50,000?
Our health insurance bill here at the Island House, we provide health insurance for all of our employees, and we pay for all of it, runs close to $30,000 a month.
Wow. Wow.
Holy cow.
Right, exactly. We're talking to John Allen. He is the proprietor of the Island House here in Key West, Florida, where we're coming to you live. Island House, internationally known as the #1 gay resort destination. Key West, of course, very well known. There's probably nobody alive. There might be 3 or 4 alive. And, you know, Rick Santorum might say he doesn't know about Key West, but I'm sure he's had a special experience, because I find for every action there's an equal and opposing reaction. The people who scream the loudest against gays seem to have a personal connection, much as if I screamed and yelled about horseradish, I would have had to have eaten it to really not like it.
I have no idea about Rick Santorum's personal life.
And you don't want to know either.
I absolutely don't, and I'm really glad I'm not from Pennsylvania either.
Now, in the history, and we're going to wrap this up with John, because he's got a lot of stuff going on here. It's probably past your bedtime.
Boy, for sure it is. Yeah, and hi to all you folks on the West Coast who are just having dinner. Yes. Sushi, yeah. Oh, is she out there right now?
Yeah, we probably have a... She is, for sure. When we look at the different people that have come to Island House, and I imagine this is a coming out experience for some people, right? Does this help them gently off the high dive into this is what your life can look like?
I think we have all kinds of people here. We have people who are exploring. We have people that have explored forever. We have rich people and people who are, you know, saving every penny to come here on their vacation. We've got truck drivers and school teachers and members of Congress. And
members of Congress come here?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you who, but, you know, we've had...
Stop laughing.
Royalty of various countries. I mean, there's nothing like this in the world, so we collect people in a way that doesn't really exist in the straight world. You'd never get a collection of people this diverse, this interesting in a straight resort.
Yeah, I have to tell you from personal experience, I haven't met any members of Congress here, even though I would kill to be here when that happens. I would also respect their anonymity. I've learned to do that over time. You wouldn't, but I would. I'm pointing at somebody there, I'm sure. But one of the things here, which I really love and admire, is there is a real sense of a closed city in a safe way, so that you can do whatever makes sense to you. And like Vegas, what's done there stays there. But I think that every experience here ends up enriching people, because I get a sense after talking to all the Europeans that come here and everyone else, they're like, wow, I didn't really realize Americans were so cool and this and that. This, in a way, is the United Nations.
It's the United everything. We do somehow have succeeded in creating there's a 6-foot wall around all of this, so it is, in a very real sense, its own little world. And I think that we strive to erase the outside world here. There's nothing on the television. We're not playing ESPN. We're not inviting people to stay in their own world. I mean, of course, we have Wi-Fi and you can get connected if you want.
So to speak.
More than anything, what we want you to do is meet the guy that's sitting next to you, to connect in a very real way with people. Because I think that's the hardest thing to achieve in the world we live in today, is any kind of connection with people that's real or meaningful, and particularly for gay guys like us. You can't walk into a room and assume that if you chat up this guy, it's going to be okay. What we've got here is an extraordinarily safe place, a place that you can just kind of blossom. You can say whatever you want to say, and it's just going to sail right out there and be received or not. But there's going to be no animosity, no blowback. It's great.
Just blow forward if you're lucky.
Yeah, whatever. I think we need to get Cary laid. I don't know. Yeah, it's like,
I will accept that challenge on behalf of the other residents of Earth who might have that particular need.
How kind of you.
Others first, self second. I learned that in church.
Well,
Uh-oh.
The dog took
John Allen. He's the owner of Island House. I know you want to talk to him too. He's the owner of Island House. Island House, the premier gay resort in Key West, Florida. It is internationally known as we enter the fourth act of the conversation here, and prepare to start rolling credits shortly to honor John and let him cut loose and go back to his husband. One of the things you were talking about is people connecting and meeting people. And you look at, we had last week on ashleymadison.com, which is a website mostly for straight people. They get six new people signing up a minute or an hour or something like that. They've got 14 countries, 13 million people on it, and it's a cheating website for straight people. And then you look at Grindr, which is a gay app on a mobile phone. As you can see, I don't actually have Grindr. Or if I turn the phone on, who knows, it might pop up. Stop laughing. There are all kinds of different ways, but the fact is there are tens of millions of people who do look for that connection, who really want to meet somebody, and it's really hard to do it. And when you create a community, a vibrant and hospitable community, it actually happens. And John Allen, as we're looking at these beautiful pictures of the Island House here and seeing the pool and the different rooms and the outside of the property and all of that, as we can see this on our screen right now, we're thinking, well, are there actual success stories you can report about from people having come to Island House that met each other and fell in love?
Yes. We don't kiss and tell, however.
Straight guys laugh.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, so that's the end of that question.
What stays there? It's Vegas.
Stays there. Yes, exactly. So that's the good news. So I want to thank you for creating a paradise within paradise. If we went by the 10% rule, we call it a rule. We imagine it to be a rule. But if we go by the 10%, which out of 7 billion humans, there's now 7 billion as of 2 months ago. So that's a lot of enchanted folk. And you've created one for the male side of it. There are hundreds of millions of people who could benefit from coming to Island House one way or the other. And that you're the owner, and John is so humble, I don't think he gets that this place is here because he actually made it go that way. It's not a fluke like you open a motel and it's the only thing in town. People come here like 6,000 miles to get here because there's really a real payoff. And what's your take-home message in the experience? It's obviously changed you as it changes the people who come here.
God.
Want a harder question?
Well, I think you're giving me the question, I see that from two different angles. There's a side of it that has to do with us creating the experience, and so we've got this office across the street that doesn't look like this at all. It's not plush and fabulous. It's a boiler room where 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of us are constantly in there reviewing every single thing that's going on, who came to work, who didn't come to work, who are the guests that are arriving tomorrow, what do they want, what's got to be in their room. So, this doesn't just happen. It's just not like fairy dust sprinkling down that happens automatically. So that's one side of what I do. And the other side is just to acknowledge that most of what happens here is being created by the guests themselves. You're around us are probably 50 guys right now who are hanging out at the bar, having something to eat, just talking, chatting. It's the most wonderful, relaxed, friendly, amazing thing that could not happen, I don't think, anywhere else but here.
Live from Key West, Harrison with you. You are watching and listening to The Smart Show on KPFK 90.7. Now, this, of course, is for you. We're streaming at the WeHoNews.com. We're also in Europe on Cary and a variety of other platforms, Facebook and all of that, and have been visiting with John Allen. He's the owner of Island House Key West, where we are coming live. And behind us in the swimming pool, there are frolicking ducks, even though they look like humans. They're only ducks, not to worry. Ducks without bathing suits. And that's kind of the whole vibe here. It's a free place, a place of extraordinary freedom. And Billy, I want to thank you and Phoenix for having handled a lot of the technology here and really made this thing wonderful and making it possible for us to present John in the Island House. You'll see the website right there and the toll-free number, and just call, get a reservation, have this experience, because if you really want to know what the potential is for your life, for your fun quotient, you got to be in a place that actually allows it. And as you know, he defies you to find any sign on the premises that says no. There isn't such a thing. There's KNOW. There might be some of those, but the NO, forget it. It's not going to happen. I want to thank you, John Allen, and thank Island House for accommodating so many wonderful people. Look at that set of buttocks in the water. Accommodating so many people who have needs. And do they have needs?
We all have needs.
We all have needs, and by God, those needs will be met one way or the other. Really appreciate it. We're going to keep rolling video after we sign off here and just show multiple shots of the property here, the phone number, the website, and check it out. Shoot them an email, send them your love, post it on Facebook, send the links everywhere, because I understand you also have a special where if people get multiple rooms, they get something in the summer, or how does that work?
If you stay 4 nights during the winter, you get 3 free nights on a second stay in the summertime. And summertime down here is a lot of fun.
So if I heard you correctly, you just said if you spend 3 nights during the winter, 4 nights during the winter at Island House in Key West, he's going to give you 3 consecutive days during the summer on Key West for free.
That's exactly right. That's such a deal.
That's such a deal. Check out the website. Go check it out. I would jump on it. When in doubt, head out. That's your new mantra. When in doubt, head out. And remember, head is the key word here. Head out. All right. Thank you so much, John Allen. Thank you so much, Island House, here in Key West, where we're coming to you live. And we will see you tomorrow. I'll be here as well. And we'll do more and talk to a variety of other cool people. By the way, your waiters are awfully attractive. Was that an accident when you hired? Do you just do it off a piece of paper clinically like you're supposed to? Or is it more like casting?
We have a rigorous appraisal process.
I like that appraisal.
And they're all laughing.
We're all laughing. Cary, thank you so much for coming down and seeing us again. You're always welcome, and it's always a pleasure.
We love Island House. We vote yes. We're going to roll some video now and show a series of shots with some music. And I will see you guys tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, here on The Smart Show. Remember, you can visit us anytime at goharrison.com, thesmartshow.org, harrisonshangout.com, where we are here, and, of course, gaytoday.com. Have a great night, and we'll see you later.
Thank you.
If you look behind us, just between us here, you'll see all kinds of glistening lights. There's a swimming pool behind us filled with men who may or may not be wearing bathing suits. And I understand that in Key West, you could actually you could place your nether bits into the sunshine.
You can in any private place. A business is a private place. So we have bars here where people are naked. We have restaurants where people are naked. And we have guest houses where people are naked. And 12 months a year, the weather's pretty amenable to getting naked. So it's fun.
I guess it's fair and reasonable. Look at Billy up there. You're just really excited by that. We have people viewing from all over the world right now. Yvonne, this is Yvonne here. Is that right?
I'm trying to plan my next trip out there.
But the way they wanted it. I know it's radical. He's going to explain a little more about why that actually works. But first I want to welcome John Allen, and thank you so much, as always, for hosting us here at the Island House.
Well, thank you, Cary. Welcome back to Key West.
Now, the Island House, if anybody were to just Google Island House, Key West, go to islandhousekeywest.com. Go to gay. It'll come under there at some point. You are that ubiquitous, that well-known, that planetary, and all you've done was what you say is, I just do the right thing.
For 12 years. You know, this all has built on itself in a very nice way. I think we've learned as we went along. We've collected an amazing staff. We've got 35 guys who work here who are just totally committed to delivering an extraordinary experience for our guests.
Now, that could be true of many hotels, the Ritz-Carlton or this or that. And I would tell you, having stayed in the Ritz and having stayed in many hotels throughout Europe for various travel stories and such, they're polite in a kind of a special, almost mechanical, mathematical way. But the warmth is what you guys have. And I have to say, it feels genuine. I believe it is.
It is genuine. I think our staff are very much like our guests. They're all largely middle-class, middle-aged gay guys. And so we relate to you.
And the owner, the proprietor, and really the inventor of the concept that makes it so efficient and so perfect today. And just to make him squirm a little bit, I want to boast about this guy. There is much more to him than just an innkeeper of an impeccable establishment, of a place that has pretty much full booking all year around, where people fly from the most faraway distances in Eastern Europe, in Central Europe, in Japan, in China, you name it, the whole soup, cat, and pizzas. They come here because it's a great place for gay people to fully express themselves. But he's got this weird concept, and I'm going to share it with you. It's called customer service. Here's the concept behind it. It's going to be foreign to us with American ears. When somebody comes to the door, you're nice to them. If they need something, you make sure they have it. And then you make sure they have...
I meant the other direction. Harrison's Hangout. Harrison on the highway.
And it is 1 minute past the hour. Harris with you, your new best friend, coming to you live from Key West, Florida. And not just Key West, Florida, which, of course, is one of the gay capitals of the universe, of the entire planet, of the spinning orb that we like to call Earth, but probably the premier gay resort of anywhere you can go. Now, there are places pretty much in every continent. Every city has some variation of it. But there's one place that people come to from anywhere in the world. It's called the Island House, and that's where we are right now, right here live. And I'm sitting next to John Allen. He's